It's not easy to pull your experiences of the Second World War from your memory and then write a chronologically accurate report about them. Either you satisfy yourself with the incidental events which you have with difficulty sifted out, or you simply fill the gaps in your memory with lively fantasy. Many books have been published using the latter mixture, either glorifying the war by telling of what are indisputably acts of heroism, or interpreting it by means of malicious obituary, with the result that the reader is persuaded to regard soldiers as bloodthirsty murderers. I want neither of these. I intend neither to glorify nor to judge. I will describe the reality, how I, as an ordinary soldier, personally experienced and perceived the war on the front lines in Russia, from the autumn of 1942 until the bitter end, interrupted only occasionally because of injury. This book is an authentic report with descriptions of my own unforgettable experiences, impressions, and perceptions, the perceptions of an ordinary frontline soldier, referred to, in the slang of the day, as a lancer. Unlike many books, which rely on contemporary documentation, it does not discuss responsibility, or the lack of it, from the point of view of the command staffs in charge of the conduct of the war, nor even from the point of view of the leaders who had been specifically trained to be examples to their men, and who, as a general rule, fought alongside them in the front lines. The book is intended to be a tribute to the countless anonymous soldiers who spent most of their war in filthy foxholes in the Russian soil, relinquishing them only when they needed to engage the enemy directly, whether it be in summer in the boiling hot sun, during the rains in knee-deep mud, or in a winter blizzard with the ground frozen hard or covered in deep snow. The only hope for these men was the promise of a brief respite when they were permitted to rest with the rear area supply trains. But until that happened, their home was the front-line trench or the foxhole, there, on the main battle line, where day after day they worried about their survival and killed their enemies in order to avoid being killed. Where each man fought as a unit, but in the end had to rely upon himself. Where the earth around them often turned into a burning hell, where they sensed the ice-cold touch of death when a glowing hot splinter or a fizzing bullet searched out their living bodies, where the shredded corpses of their enemy were heaped in front of them, and where the piercing screams of the wounded would mix with the barely audible calls of the dying, touching them as they cowered deep within the ground and pursuing them in their nightmares. There cannot be many still living who, after half a century, can say that they survived the murderous war on the Russian front, or survived an inhuman imprisonment afterwards. But there most assuredly are still fewer who, thanks to some miracle, escaped the hellish inferno, and who, because of notes they made during those days, can now write about it. After my training, I graduated as a heavy machine gunner. As a result, my superiors employed me primarily in this speciality and as a heavy weapons gun team leader for most of my frontline service. I will not deny that, using this rapid-fire weapon, mounted on a gun carriage and equipped with an optical sight, I killed many of the enemy during the war on the Eastern Front.